You've probably heard all about how ChatGPT's latest model beats the average student in a whole host of exams, including the SAT, the LSAT, and even the USMLE, an exam that thousands of medical students spend many months preparing for. The average medical student gets around 70% of the questions right on the USMLE, while GPT-4 gets 87% of the answers correct. But hold on a minute, because it feels like all the conversations about artificial intelligence replacing humans, and by definition human brains, seem to be missing something rather important, at least in my opinion. Without it, well, excuse my language, but AI is kind of and this isn't even a video about creativity or how humans are special and unique or any of that stuff. It's really, if anything, it's a video about maths. For AI to stand a chance at replacing us humans, it needs to be able to do more than just get the right answers quickly, which AI models seem to be able to do and are getting better at every day. AI systems need to be efficient just like human brains are. It's time we do some maths. This video is around 10 minutes long. That's around 1500 words, give or take. Now, none of these 1500 words were AI generated, but let's say they were. The cost of generating 1500 words using OpenAI's GPT-4 32K model comes to around 26 cents. Considering OpenAI is estimated to have lost over $1 billion in 2023, the energy costs of generating those 1500 words are likely to be significantly higher. That's when things quickly unravel, even if we use the conservative figure of 26 cents. At current electricity prices in the United States, 26 cents will roughly buy you 2 kilowatt hours. A kilowatt hour is a unit of energy, meaning you need 2 kilowatt hours of energy to write the video script for a 10-minute YouTube video. Just like this one. 2 kilowatt hour is one of these numbers that's kind of meaningless unless we give it some context, something to compare it to. Like the amount of energy consumed by the brain, for example. While the GPT-4 32K model requires around 2 kilowatt hours of energy to create a 1500-word video script, the human brain requires just 0.3 kilowatt hours of energy to do everything it needs to do in an entire day. Compared to human intelligence, artificial intelligence is several orders of magnitude more inefficient. For AI to stand a realistic chance, at taking human jobs at any meaningful scale, it would have to become more like the human brain in its efficiency. If that doesn't happen, the energy needs of an AI-powered world would spiral out of control, driving up electricity costs and making the idea of AI doctors, AI lawyers rather laughable, as they'd be prohibitively expensive. The math just doesn't add up. In fact, for AI to ever stand a chance, it needs to be rebuilt from the ground up, using the lessons learned from over 200 million years of mammalian brain evolution. Unlike OpenAI, mammals, for most of their history, didn't have the luxury of having their energy needs subsidized by Microsoft. Biological systems don't have the same kind of tolerance for inefficiency that artificial systems do. Inefficiency means reduced chances of survival. Inefficiency is bad and must be avoided at all costs. Some of you watching this video may be familiar with Moore's Law. It's the idea that the number of transistors on a microchip will roughly double every 2 years, improving computational efficiency and reducing computational costs. Moore's Law is the reason why both the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 15 Pro Max consume roughly 3.6 kilowatt hours of electricity in a year, despite the iPhone 15 Pro Max being an obviously much more powerful phone. There's a link to all my references in the description, by the way, go check them out. Despite all the progress that's been made with transistors and microchips, improvements in energy efficiency seem to be slowing down. This graph compares the energy efficiency of the human brain, which sits at just under 10 to the power of 15 flops per watt. Flops per watt, contrary to what its name might suggest, is the number of calculations that a system can do per amount of energy consumed per unit time. Notice how the axis follows a logarithmic scale. A higher flops per watt doesn't just mean the system is more efficient. It means the system is orders of magnitude more efficient. In fact, the brain's toughest competition is a supercomputer called Henry at the Flatiron Institute in New York City. It manages an impressive 10 to the power of 9 flops per watt. In calories, that's roughly 10 to the power of 12 calculations for every calorie consumed per second. And yet, this powerful, super efficient computer is still a million times less efficient than the human brain. Looking at what the brain uses this energy for can offer us clues on the systems in place that allow the brain to be so energy efficient. You can see from this pie chart just how little of the energy consumed by the brain goes towards firing action potentials. Action potentials are the electrical impulses that nerve cells use to communicate with one another. Instead of relying on a binary system that represents and transfers data in ones and zeros, just like modern computers do, the brain relies not on the action potentials firing, but on the pattern that's created by these action potentials. Contrary to what you've been taught in school, the information isn't actually in the action potentials themselves, but it lies in the pattern that the action potentials create. It's a bit like how music doesn't communicate information through the individual notes being played, but through how these notes are played and in what arrangement they're played. This is very different from the binary systems we see in nearly all modern computers that rely on ones and zeros. Non-binary systems create more possibilities, more outcomes, while remaining largely efficient. But computers weren't always destined to be binary, it turns out. The Soviet Union actually developed a ternary computer called Saturn in the 1950s that relied on zeros, ones, and minus ones. Instead of bits, the Saturn used trits. Now, it's kind of funny because as I was doing research for this video, I came across a paper that was published literally 4 days ago, which I guess kind of shows you how fast things are happening. The paper argued that large language models, LLMs like ChatGPT, could benefit greatly from ternary computing. Here's a bar chart of the energy consumed by a ternary LLM versus a binary LLM. Ternary LLMs consume 71 times less energy. Ternary computers might just make a long-awaited comeback. However, even with ternary computing, it's unlikely that AI systems will be able to match the human brain on efficiency, at least not for the foreseeable future. These PET scans show the differences in energy consumption between the brains of amateur versus professional musicians. Notice how much less energy the brain of a professional musician uses when performing the same movements or the same piece. The efficiency is the result of optimized resource allocation, where neuronal connections, synapses, that are no longer in use are weakened over time or sacrificed altogether to create more efficient connections for the things that we do on a more regular basis. It seems counterintuitive, but this ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn the same thing helps reduce energy consumption, improving overall efficiency. It's unclear if AI can ever do a similar kind of thing. I feel I should probably mention at this stage that there is one paper that disagrees with just about everything I just said in this video. It was published last month in Nature, and it's honestly, genuinely one of the worst things I've ever had the misfortune of reading. I hate it so much. I just feel like a very urgent and desperate need to tell you all about it. It's such an infuriating example of odd science. I'm not going to call it bad science because it's not bad science, it's just odd science. So I wrote an entire article about it, which you can read on my free Substack newsletter. Again, link in the description below. Go ahead and read it, and hopefully I won't be alone with these feelings. Either way, my name is Hashem and I'm a medical doctor, and this is my YouTube channel where I make videos about the human brain. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching until the end, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Hopefully, I'll see you all next week.